those jurisdictions that have been sanctuary cities, the larger northeastern cities in particular and in the Midwest, the impact has been staggering. The cost, the effects on the infrastructure, on crime, it has been overwhelming. But most people still don't realize that the root cause of this, candidly, was this administration leaving open borders, not enforcing policies that the previous administration had, and then literally doing nothing about it until it reached epic proportions. The worst part about it is we don't know where all these people have come from. They've caught Chinese nationals, they've caught terrorists. It's staggering, but the reality is even the average illegal immigrant who's come over has had a tremendous cost, not only on those municipalities, but on the federal government and the federal taxpayer. And this is going to be something that is going to be a lasting bad legacy. But when you allow 8 to 11 million illegals in, you don't know where they're from. There's a broken immigration court system. Most of these people will never show up. We've got to do something. And when you have local governments thwarting the job of ICE officers and federal investigators, it's ridiculous.
Appropriations for like ORNL, for Y12, did we get everything? Are we getting everything that's needed as far as that goes to continue to have that vibrant, healthy economic part of East Tennessee?
For 14 years now in the House, I have advocated for funding for the Oak Ridge Reservation. In a nutshell, that means Oak Ridge National Laboratory, I think the best national lab in our system. The Y12 plant, we're also building the UPF, which is run under the National Nuclear Security Administration that keeps our nation's nuclear arsenal strong and robust, and the environmental cleanup that we do there. We do that in Oak Ridge probably better than anywhere in the country. Of all the 25 functions a national lab can do, Oak Ridge does them all. I fund that. What does that mean? That means that Oak Ridge is the leader in materials research, supercomputing, AI, you pick the area, nuclear research. We lead the world in that, and the best part about it is with the funding portfolio, which is both fiscally responsible but directed towards them, the future is very bright. We're getting the best minds in the country coming to Oak Ridge, benefiting Tennessee businesses. This area with the $8 billion I fund Oak Ridge with, it's about $50 billion in economic impact in the Knoxville area alone. I clean up environmental sites all over the country. I'm the chair of the Nuclear Cleanup Caucus. I work to make sure that we are environmentally sound as we continue to move forward. But I am the nuclear member of Congress. We have new nuclear coming probably to Clinch River with our good friends at TVA. They've chosen a GE Hitachi model. I put money in the budget for that, for what we call Generation 3 reactors. But I've not forgotten our Generation 4 reactors that require HALEU. Put $2.8 billion in the budget for the first time so that we can domestically enrich uranium in the United States. Speaker McCarthy went through a very difficult time. I voted to retain him, others did not. Speaker Johnson went through a very arduous process. Actually, my name was floated for Speaker as well. I ultimately supported him, and basically I'm pleased with that choice. Very difficult job, very narrow margins. He will be fine. The big question will be, how will Republicans do on election night in the House? I think we're going to have a very good night. I think we will retain and add to our margins in the House. Candidly, I think we will get the United States Senate. Right now, the Democrats have a very narrow margin in the Senate. I think Republicans will regain the Senate by at least 3 to 4 seats. That's yet to be seen. And then, of course, the big prize, the White House. I believe Donald Trump will be victorious in November. I hope he will be.
Because we have so many people tugging at the, for the money in Ukraine, sure, Israel, things like that. What about our national defense? Are we good there? Have we got it solidly funded?
Our nation's nuclear stockpile is strong. Our nation's nuclear deterrent is very strong. It is the best in the world. It's the most efficient, and we are prepared to deal with any threat. Let's hope that doesn't happen. With Putin threatening to use tactical nuclear weapons on the battlefield, which I think is outrageous. That's why I supported funding for Ukraine. His incursion into Ukraine is wrong, It should be stopped.
Are we doing enough there or not doing enough, or is it just about right because this is kind of a, you don't want to get maybe too involved, and again, you don't want to leave them on their own?
Right now, we are funding their weapons. We are funding them with other allies. The Russian advance has been strong. We're a little bit late in the funding on some of it, so Russia has made some gains. Ukraine needs to continue to stop the Russian aggression. It's going to be a long, drawn-out fight, sadly, but Putin can't win. With his rhetoric, he is threatening to have a basically nuclear arms race. The United States still has the greatest military in the world. Our armaments are the best. They are getting better. And I think the key to us in the United States, and this is why we're so good, we can move our troops and sailors in a much more efficient way than any other Army or Navy in the world. But our adversaries are growing. China is growing a Navy. They're growing their armaments.
What are your reaction and some of your colleagues' reaction to Russia sending ships down to Cuba?
Alarm bells have gone off, there's no question. Obviously, Cuba is still, sadly, a communist dictatorship. Rest assured, Cuba is a friend of Russia's, and that's why Russians not only have a nuclear submarine there, they're sending ships there. That is dangerous, it's saber-rattling, and they're very close to our shores in Florida. Very alarming, needs to be dealt with. First of all, we condemn it outright. Secondly, we continue to watch Russian aggression wherever it is. It's not only in Ukraine, it's in other parts of the world. We need to have a civil nuclear program where we build SMRs like the one that we're going to build, hopefully at Oak Ridge at Clinch River, TVA, and Giatachi, or our advanced reactors. There's a lot of good designs out there. TerraPower, X-Energy has them, the Generation 4s. We need to take these designs, perfect them, use them here for our abundant energy needs, which are going to continue to grow, but we can market these to the rest of the world. If we don't get into this space and do it right, we're going to be beat by our foes. We're going to be beat by our friends as well. The French and the South Koreans are very proficient at this. So the world is not standing still. America needs to continue to move forward. Obviously, the work that we are doing in Oak Ridge, literally, Tennessee is leading the world because what Oak Ridge does across the spectrum, the benefits are not only to Tennesseans but to Americans. I continue to fund that. I'm extremely, extremely thankful for the people I represent in East Tennessee. Last week, the Republicans won 31-10, so it sounded more like a football score. I played a little in the field, I ran a little bit, but finally they put the old man in and I got one at bat, and of course I got a hit, went 1 for 1.